Gareth.
Well done, Sarah.
Good afternoon and happy Wednesday from a beautiful and glorious Tunbridge Wells again. So welcome back to my weather channel. As you know, I love weather chat, and we are back to feeling like spring has sprung in the UK. It's about 14-15 degrees and it's lovely t-shirt and shorts weather again. Now, as with everything, that could change. It could be snowing again next week, but I'm going to make the most of it. I think it's meant to be like this for the next couple of days. So, long may it continue. More importantly, it is Paddock Wood Half Marathon week. So, this is my B goal race, I guess. So, obviously, the A goal is Paris Marathon, which is in 5.5 weeks. But my B goal has always been Paddock Wood because it's a good tune-up. It's flat, it's fast. The weather is looking like it's going to be mildish, sort of 11, 12 degrees, which is good. It was quite warm last year, and it's a good one to try and attack. Now, I'm not in PB shape. My PB around there is 120, 128, and I'm probably not even in the shape I was in last year, which was 122. But I'd like to aim for in and around high 123s, I think. So that's running around about 4 minutes per K, 6:25-ish per mile is the plan. And just to see if I can cling on. So this week so far, I had a rest day on Monday after my long run on Sunday. Did 20.5 miles. And then I actually had a double day yesterday. So I was in London Tuesday and I went out and did a kind of a steady session with Nathan at lunch. Did about 11 kilometres, 6.5 miles at around about sort of 7:30 to 7:40 minute per mile, which is what's that about, I don't know, 4:40, 4:45 per K. And then I went and did intervals last night with the Harriers, and I did 9 by 600 metres at around about half marathon pace. So again, between that sort of 6:20 and 6:30 per mile, between sort of 4 minutes and 4 minutes 5-ish per K. And it felt pretty good, to be honest. So that was yesterday. I'm taking it nice and easy today. I'm going to go out, do about 5 miles at lunchtime, and then I've got a personal training session later, and then if I've still got a bit of energy after that, I'm going to go and do the Harriers Club run in the evening. But that is definitely TBC. I'm not planning on tapering into Paddock Wood this week, so I want to keep my mileage, or get my mileage back up to where it was before I had my surgery and my illness last week. So I'd like to be in and around 53 to 55 miles this week. So that's going to mean sort of in and around 6 or 7 miles Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Mix of paces and sessions. So I'm going to do a bit of tempo, might even throw some hills in there. But I'm not really planning on backing off for Sunday because I said the goal race is Paris. So everything is tuned up for that at the moment. It'd be nice to run well on Sunday, but if I have got a bit of fatigue in my legs, again, that's not necessarily a bad thing. So this time last year was the beginning of the downfall of my Boston Marathon training. It was the week preceding Paddock Wood where the foot pain just started to kick in slightly on my right foot, and sort of thought nothing of it really, even though I think in the back of my mind I knew that it probably wasn't right. and I carried on running through it. Did a hard interval session that week, and then ran Paddock Wood hard. And I think that was really the straw that broke the camel's back. And I had to take 4 or 5 weeks then off from running, which was about 6 weeks out from Boston, so not ideal. This year, I haven't done quite the same level of mileage. Going into this block, I was doing 100k, 60 to 65 miles a week for Boston. I haven't been up near that. And hopefully my body will not break on me going into these last 5 weeks. Good morning and happy Saturday. So I am just running down to Tunbridge Parkrun, where I'm going to have a very, very easy session today. So I've got Paddock Wood Half Marathon tomorrow. Yesterday, Friday, I was in London and I did kind of a steady run around about 7 minute 30 per mile, or what's that, about probably 4:40 per k-ish, with fartlek pickups at a half marathon pace. So I did about 5 different pickups, and that was about 5 mile 8k loop. So as I said, this morning though is easy peasy lemon squeezy. There is no attacking it, there is no foot race at the end of Parkrun with young girls. I am just gonna take it steady. I may do some strides at the end just to fire the legs up a little bit before tomorrow, but we will see. I'll see how I feel at the end of Parkrun. Now, if you've been watching these vlogs for a little while, you will know that I put a prediction, or not prediction, a target, I guess, for this year. I think it was back in probably October or November time last year, saying that my goals for this year were going to... little doggy seller. My goals for this year were going to be a sub 2:55 marathon and a sub 1:20 half. And I was going to attack the 1:20 half at Paddock Wood. Now, I think I have to be realistic, and that is not on the cards yet. So I'm going to have to delay that target, I think, for a little bit longer, because I think if I try and go at a 6 minute mile pace tomorrow, I will blow up. I've got no doubt about that. The sub 2:55 marathon, now that's an interesting one, because if I continue the trajectory that I'm going at the moment, I still have 5 weeks to Paris. I'm planning on having a 2-week taper. So I've got another 3 high volume, high intensity weeks coming up. Does that get me to 2:55? We'll see. I don't know. I am really annoyed at myself because I took a pretty heavy fall at Parkrun. It was on the last kilometre. I decided to pick it up a little bit. Like, I still wasn't going quickly, like, by any means, but I decided I was going to do kind of rather than doing strides, I was just going to sort of pick it up in the last K and just run maybe up to kind of like a tempo pace. So between, like, I don't know, 7 and 7:15 per mile. And I went round a guy on a corner, and my feet just went, and I fell pretty heavily on my left shoulder and my left leg. The adrenaline, I got straight back up. Obviously, Parkrun people really nice, people checking I was okay. It was right in front of a marshal as well, but I sort of like, I was a bit embarrassed. So I got straight up and carried on with the adrenaline, but now I've stopped. My left shoulder is pretty sore. I'm going to get home and get some ice on it and just hope that I haven't done anything too sinister or serious to it, and that it is just, I've just jarred it from falling on it. But yeah, I'm just annoyed at myself, because what did I say last week? I was like, don't wear road shoes at Tunbridge. What did I do this week? I wore road shoes at Tunbridge, and because I took it easy, I was more places back, so it was more churned by the time I got there. And I tried to overtake somebody in a corner again, stupidly, totally my own fault. And I've now hopefully not put tomorrow at jeopardy or Paris in jeopardy by doing something silly. But yeah, I'm annoyed at myself. Right, I'm going to get home, get some ice on it, and fingers crossed, I'll be okay for tomorrow. Good morning and happy Sunday. So I am just waiting for my lift to the Paddock Wood Half Marathon this morning. So I felt a bit sorry for myself, to be honest, yesterday afternoon after my fall at Parkrun. And my shoulder did get progressively worse throughout the afternoon. Managed it with painkillers, but yeah, not brilliant. This morning it is still sore, but I don't think there's any kind of like actual sort of arm driving doesn't really create any pain. It tends to be more when I'm like lifting it up that way. So I think I'm going to be okay to run this morning, but I guess we will wait and see. So I've had a little think about my goals in terms of how I want to run this morning. And I had a comment on my previous video from a guy I know called Fred, who'd said that I always run well at Paddock Wood. And he's right. And I do tend to overachieve at Paddock Wood. I think it's my type of course. It's flat, it's fast, you can get into a rhythm. And so I'm not going to cap myself by saying I'm going to run under 124 or whatever, like I did in previous weeks. I'm actually just going to run on feel today because I think, like I said, I've always, I've run 120, 126, not 120, 128, and 122.04 last year. So I double checked my timings last night, which were way exceeding my expectations in the last 2 years. So I think if I cap myself and go in at, like I say, I want to run on 24, like I feel like that might limit me. I'm just going to go in and run on feel. I'm going to turn my watch screen off. So I did that for the Hastings Parkrun a couple of months ago. It could go horribly wrong. Like I could end up running far too quickly. But if I say to myself, I'm going to run 6 minutes 20 per mile, and actually I've got 6:10s in my legs or 6:15s, then I feel like I'm going to be a bit disappointed if I get to the end and I've still got stuff left. So yeah, the plan is no watch, naked, turned off, whatever you want to call it. And I am going to run on feel to just see what I've got in my legs today. And if that is 124, it's 124. If it's 121, it's 121. We will see. Morning.
Morning. Good morning.
Cheers. Right, just on my warm-up, so I'm planning on doing in and around sort of about 1.5 miles. Fairly steady, so not too easy, but just good to get the legs ticking over, and then I'll probably finish with a couple of strides and hopefully get the legs nice and primed for a hard half marathon effort. So it's about 15 minutes to start, and I'm just going to take my morning caffeine gel. Oh, you alright guys? So about 15 minutes I'm going to take my caffeine gel, and then I will end up with another non-caff gel, taking that probably around about halfway. And I've also got water on me as well. Right, let's get to the start. Cheers.
Well done, Darcy.
Go on, Dartford.
Is Joshua Nice. 25.93 is Sarah Pratchett. Well done, Sarah. Ambulance coming through then.
Well done. Well done, great run.
Give them away. Go on a shout.
It was about that the entire way. Yeah.
I just went too early.
Yeah. Thank you.
PB. How on earth did that happen? So, I've got no idea. I ran on feel. I did not check my watch until... only time I checked my watch was when I got to 10 miles and I looked down and saw my elapsed time was 1:01:25, I think. And I realised that as long as I ran the final 5k in a sub 20, I would be on for a PB. So that was kind of my motivation. But up until that point, I had no idea what my splits were. And so, yeah, it was, really pleased. The last 5k were hard, but I had that motivation at that point, knowing that I just needed to cling on. I probably went off a little bit quick, although it was all kind of done on feel. When I look at my splits, like I definitely positive splitted. But that was part of the strategy, was that I didn't want to scare myself with thinking my pace was too high and my heart rate was too high, and actually I just wanted to run on feel, and it worked out really well. So that is a huge confidence boost. So I don't know my official time yet, but my watch time is 1:21:02. So I'll be broadly around about 1:21, I think, which will be a 26 second PB from this course 2 years ago. And just delighted, and that is a huge confidence boost. There we go. So I'm back from the Paddock Wood Half Marathon. I am showered, changed, clean. We are going to be going out for Sunday lunch with some friends this afternoon, actually. So I'm not fully eaten. I've just had a snack. But yeah, there we go. A PB, and my first PB in my 40s. So I can now officially claim to be fitter at 40. As you can see from the race itself, it was a bit of a kamikaze race. I went off very, very quickly. So I ran, I think it was 18:40 for the first 5k, which, bearing in mind 2 months ago, I ran an all-out 5k in 18:59 at Parkrun. So you can just see how much my fitness has stepped on in those 2 months. Went through 10k in the first 10k in 37:45. And again, my PB in the 10k is 37:21. So it's, I definitely went off quick. And that's, I guess, one of the disadvantages of running blind from your watch and not having the splits on. But I did feel good. I knew I was going quickly, but I felt okay. Yes, it's probably not the way to run a half marathon. Each of my 5k splits got slower and slower, but it is a PB. So 1 hour, 20 minutes and 58 seconds. So that's 28 seconds off my previous PB, which I ran at Paddock Wood 2 years ago. And all in all, I am very, very pleased. So the mileage for the week was up around about 54 miles for the week. So broadly where I thought I'd be and where I wanted to be. I've got 5 weeks today to Paris. So the plan is to have 3 more, as I said, high volume, high intensity weeks, over and above 50 miles if possible, and then to taper for 2 weeks. Strava is now, Strava is my friend. Strava is predicting that I can run a marathon in 2 hours 56, and I think about 38 seconds now. It reckons on the back of that performance, I'm at 2:56. So I've got 3 more weeks to bring that down. So my 2:55 is maybe looking on the cards, but we will see. So another week done, 5 weeks to Paris, my first PB in my 40s, a great day out, and I'm looking forward to the final few weeks of this block and seeing what I can do at Paris Marathon. See you next week.